think some of the things that stood out to me was hearing from, actually, I met with one of the businesses today, was that she was actually in the process of contemplating closing her business. She is a marketer, and she really was like, do I go back to bartending? I don't know if I can work for somebody, but I've always loved bartending, like just really ready to throw in the towel. And she went through one of our Growing a Brilliant Business cohorts. And at the end of the cohort, she had more than double and was getting ready to hire her first employee. So that was really, and just excited about doing her work again.
This is the Chamber Chat Podcast, the show dedicated to chamber professionals to spark ideas and to get actionable tips and strategies to better serve your members and community. Hello, Chamber Champions. Welcome to Chamber Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Burton, and here on the podcast, I introduce you to people and ideas to better help you serve your chamber members and your community. You're joining us for a special episode in our 2026 ACCE Chamber of the Year Finalist Series. And today we're joined by Janelle Smith, president of the Howell Area Chamber of Commerce in Livingston, Michigan. Janelle leads initiatives focused on economic development, entrepreneurship, workforce development, and community growth. With more than a decade of chamber and economic development experience, she's known for building innovative partnerships and programs that strengthen both businesses and communities. She was named one of ACCE's 40 Under 40 honorees in 2024. She's a IOM graduate, and she completed the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation's Business Leads Fellowship. Janelle brings strong passion for collaboration, leadership, and business growth to today's conversation. But Janelle, I'm excited to have you with us today here on Chamber Chat Podcast. First of all, huge congratulations to you and your team for being selected as a Chamber of the Year finalist. It's quite the accomplishment. But I'd love to give you an opportunity to say hello to the audience and to share something interesting about yourself so we can all get to know you a little better.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the introduction, for having me on your show. It is quite an honor, and we are just really, really excited about the opportunity. So to share a little something about myself, something interesting. I actually have a background in fashion design. So I think that is something that not too many people know about me, but that's what I went to school for. So my amazing fine arts. And I think that I used to say, and I was actually thinking about this yesterday, but I used to say that being in the chamber industry allowed me to be creative and still kind of exercise that creative part of my brain. But I really think what it boils down to is building things. So I think in this role, we get to build some really amazing things within our communities. So beyond the creativity component, I'm still actually constructing things. And whether they're tangible or not, they have impact and outcomes. So I think that it translates really well, and it's been fun.
Yeah. You don't see that on many chamber resumes, to have fashion design as a background.
Yeah.
But I think that the parallels you've drawn to it, the joy that comes from creating, I think there's great power in that. So that is neat. It's an interesting background.
Yeah.
Well, if you would tell us a little bit about the Howell Area Chamber, just to give us an idea of the size, staff, scope of work, budget, to kind of set the stage for our discussion today.
So the Howell Area Chamber of Commerce is located in Livingston County, Michigan. We are the largest chamber in the county, and we have a really strong focus on economic and community development, workforce development, and really entrepreneurship. So we'll talk a little bit more about entrepreneurship when we talk about submitted for ACCE Chamber of the Year. But we have about 6 full-time staff members that work with us, a few seasonal and part-time staff members as well. We've grown significantly in the past 6 years. We've almost tripled our budget, which now is about $1.4 million annually, and that does include our foundation. So we have a foundation that we leverage as well in a lot of the different things and programs that we provide to the Howell area and Livingston County community.
Very good. That definitely helps to set the stage. And I love that you guys have the foundation. Are you utilizing that? Is that primarily around workforce development or economic development?
A lot of leadership through our foundation, and a lot of community events are driven through our foundation, some economic development as well. But right now, mostly on the leadership education side.
Okay. Very good. So on these Chamber of the Year finalist episodes, I like to spend the majority of our time talking about the program that was submitted on your Chamber of the Year application. So we'll take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll dive into that program.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Rose.
And we're the founders of App My Community, a mobile app that can be customized to meet the unique needs of your Chamber of Commerce.
When we started App My Community, we envisioned a tool that would help communities thrive by simplifying communication and enhancing engagement. Chambers of Commerce face unique challenges, and we're here to help you tackle them.
App My Community helps the Evergreen Area Chamber of Commerce to create an app that keeps tourists informed even when their office is closed. They provide 24/7 access to local business information, which helps support the local economy and community engagement.
In Rocky Mountain House, we helped the Rocky Chamber create an app with dynamic itineraries and digital resources for tourists, increasing local business engagement. The app has become an essential tool for the community, promoting events and boosting visibility for local merchants.
Today, we empower more than 200 chambers of commerce, campgrounds, and RV resorts to streamline communication, informing members about events, sharing business updates, and providing a digital hub for the community, all in one convenient app.
When you partner with App My Community, our team works closely with you to create an app that meets your chamber's unique needs. As your community grows, our app evolves with you. We are here to ensure you engage effectively with your members and streamline your operations.
Schedule a demo today at appmycommunity.com.
We can't wait to meet you.
Are you ready to take your organization's funding to the next level? Hi, I'm Janelle Smith, CEO of Resource Development Group. As a Chamber of Commerce or Economic Development Organization leader, I know you understand the value of working with experts who understand your world. And that's exactly what RDG does best. For over 30 years, RDG has specialized in fundraising for EDOs and chambers. We bring cutting-edge strategies tailored to your organization, whether you're just starting out or gearing up for yet another new funding cycle. Importantly, our firm executives are hands-on from start to finish, from the feasibility study to the successful conclusion of your fundraising campaign, and our team brings deep industry roots and national expertise to every engagement. No matter the size of your community, RDG delivers data-driven, innovative revenue solutions, reinforcing ROI to investors and making sure your vision becomes reality. At RDG, we proudly build organizations that build communities. Visit us today at rdgfundraising.com and let us partner with you, building a stronger future for your organization and the community you are working to grow and develop.
All right, Janelle, we're back. So as I mentioned before the break, we want to dive in and learn about the program that you submitted on your Chamber of the Year application. It's always neat to learn about these programs because they're obviously making impact in your community to be able to stand out and kind of rise to the top to be a Chamber of the Year finalist. So if you would just introduce to us what the program is that you all submitted on your Chamber of the Year application.
Absolutely. Yeah. We submitted the Livingston Business Hub. So the Livingston Business Hub is really a business resource and a central access point for entrepreneurs and businesses within our community to support them in their endeavors, help them grow, and ensure that they have the access, the tools, and the support needed to do so. And that includes a community. This all started, and I'm going to kind of go back to the very beginning because I think that that's really critical to how we got to where we are today. And the Livingston Business Hub was really born out of COVID. So back towards the end of 2020, decided to strategically plan. I think that a lot of us during COVID and throughout COVID were spending a lot of time just trying to keep the plane in the air, so to speak. And we knew that we had to be really forward thinking about what was going to be happening to our community and our businesses when this, thing passed and when we were on the other side of it. And I think the word of the year for many years was pivot.
Yeah.
And, I think we all kind of got sick of hearing that, but at some
They're bringing back bad memories.
I know. I was like, do I even say it? So we knew that we had to really look at how this was going to shape our community and what the chamber's role in that was going to be. So we worked with our board and we engaged over 60 stakeholders and community members, chamber members, non-members across several different industry sectors. I want to say we had roughly 6 industry sectors that participated in these focus group discussions. And in that, it was clear that we needed and that there was a strong gap in business support services. And this really came from that reinvention. We started to understand that individuals within our community were really refocusing their efforts. A lot of people were laid off, lost their jobs. They started restructuring their lives and reprioritizing what was important to them. So based on the feedback that we got through those stakeholder focus groups sessions in partnership with really reviewing kind of what we know and what we've been through before. So analyzing what happened recession era and 2008, 2009. And what we saw and what we predicted is that there would be a strong entrepreneurial renaissance. So in that, and also understanding that small businesses truly are the backbone of our economy, our regional economy, our state economy, and truly our national economy. They are what our economies are built on. And so how could we support that gap and those needs to ensure that we have a strong and vibrant ecosystem here for entrepreneurs and business owners? So that's when the vision for the Livingston Business Hub was born. And so it was a lot of discussions, a lot of analyzing the data and then outlining what we want to see with this. It started, people are like, well, what is this? Is this an incubator? Is it
Right. Is it a physical space? Is it a digital space? Well, yeah. What is it?
So what is this? So that's when we really started putting the pieces together. And it started with concepts. We had drawings. And this was a really big stretch for us because I think as chambers, and especially coming out of COVID, we understand that our resources, we need to maximize all of our resources, especially at that time, And so it was a financial commitment and a financial investment that our board was very dedicated and committed to because we understood that the potential impact that this could have locally. So we invested in renderings. So it did become a physical space. And so it's your technical support, but also all of those wraparound services as well. So the Livingston Business Hub actually resides within the Howell Area Chamber of Commerce. Through the renderings, we reconstituted what our building looked like and how we would continue to serve businesses within our region in a way that supported their needs. So we created a co-working space. We actually have our own podcasting studio today that's now accessible to members and anybody that's a part of our hub programming. And so they can come in and we can give them all the tools that they need to be successful. So we invested in these renderings and we started creating that vision of okay, what does this look like from a programmatic perspective and really identifying what the biggest needs were going to be. We aligned a lot of resources and started telling the story and sharing this with our regional partners. So we had regional partners that were involved in this and critical to the success. So one of those being Ann Arbor Spark. We had a board member who was part of our economic development entity at that time, which is Ann Arbor Spark. And she was very intimate with the project and she really helped us kind of move the needle and also connect us with some different resources as well. So as we were looking at this and then we had some other board members that were like, hey, I really think that you should talk to so-and-so. So we really leveraged the community to move this forward. We listened, we heard, and then we put the ideas into action when those gaps were identified. So we lined this all up and then we're getting ready to start construction. And we're like, wow, this is a huge capital investment. This is going to be a big and heavy lift. So how can we do this? How can we move this forward? Well, again, decided that this was critical to supporting our community here and fostering that entrepreneurial ecosystem in realizing that, that the success of those entrepreneurs really is going to be the success of and the prosperity of our entire region. And so they said, let's move forward. We dipped into reserves to actually start construction. So we started construction. And we continued to look to opportunities to leverage partnerships. And we actually, go ahead.
Interrupted the question. Yeah. I'm curious when you said you tapped into reserves. So what time frame is this? Is this like 2021, 22,
2023. It was, I think
23?
2023. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As I
So,
say, tapping into reserves in 2020 would be super scary, and it still could be scary even in
well, it
2023.
was
So
really scary because when, we were coming out of COVID, like our budget had decreased by almost 50%. And
yeah,
so to build that back and to build, I mean, at this time, our staff was a staff of 2. So
yeah,
this was a big undertaking. So
yeah.
we just did it and kept the whole vision of this and the purpose and the potential impact at the center of it. So we moved forward and entered into construction, and that was fun. I've never done that before. So I think like as a chamber professional, it's kind of
That's one word to use. Yeah.
you never know like all of the different hats that you're gonna wear. And I'm like, okay, construction project.
That's right.
So, and through this, we had tenants, so we started shifting our model a little bit too. So we're looking at ways that we can continue to diversify and support a thriving organization. And we were able to do this by offering office rental space. So we're working around tenants and their schedules and a lot of construction dust. And in late 23, we were able to secure a grant in partnership with 5 other ecosystem partners. And so this is what really got us over that last hurdle. And it was truly transformational to what we were able to achieve. So we basically launched pretty immediately our hub website and our opening up of our co-working space. We were able to outfit the space with furnishings and the podcasting equipment and gear, interactive boards, so people could come into the space and leverage it to their needs. And that was, again, another gap that we realized in these conversations, is that people really enjoyed working in a hybrid environment, and people also didn't. And, but there were a lot of employers that still weren't allowing their staff to come to an office space, or said, no, we're going to keep you remote. So we wanted to make sure that we offered the capacity to support them in what they were doing as well. So by offering our hourly office rental space, by offering conference space, by offering just small meeting space and a place to just get away from that work at home environment for those that need more of that professional atmosphere. And in that, cultivating a strong sense of community. So that's been kind of like the core piece of this as well, is like, how can we cultivate a sense of community amongst entrepreneurs? And that's when this started to really shift and gain some legs. So we have worked with a few different service providers to focus on specific program areas that support entrepreneurs in early stage development of their business, and to help them really gain clarity on what it is that they're doing, what it is that they're selling. Because I think one thing that we have learned or know about entrepreneurs is that they are here to do the thing. They are in the business to change and shape the world in a different way. And that's what they're good at. And so it's kind of all of those other things of like, how do they communicate that? How do they make sure that they're monetizing their offers, knowing and understanding their value, getting crystal clear on who their target market is, and really being able to zone in on those things. So putting those programs in place and developing that, we were able to work with our partners to market this program to entrepreneurs across the region. And we enrolled over 90 entrepreneurs within the program, and they went through 5 different program tracks. So we focused in on AI, knowing that was going to be a huge component of impact and the way that businesses operate. And then we created a lot of group learning opportunities as well. So working with our program providers to provide cohort sessions so they can really learn from each other and can continue to grow that entrepreneurial community, because we also know that entrepreneurship can be very isolating. And so, giving our the entrepreneurs and our clients that are going through these programs a space and place to connect with others, it helps them kind of navigate and learn from each other. I mean, and I know that some of the best learning, when we're going to either IOM or some of these state conferences, it comes from each other. And
Right.
so I think the same is true in business and entrepreneurship. And I think that entrepreneurs and these early stage businesses are willing to work with each other, and the understanding that their success is ultimately our success. And it's kind of that mentality of a rising tide lifts all boats. So we've been able to do that really, really well. And in addition to those tracks, we also have one-on-one coaching and then online business courses. We also offer a lot of different HR human resource trainings and quarterly forums. So those are a lot of the different program tracks that we've been able to offer through the hub. And it's truly been transformational for some of our businesses that have been through that.
That's awesome. So you have the physical space, you have the hub, the co-working space, but then you have the programming aspect of it as well. With the programming part of it, is it open to any business, any aspiring entrepreneur throughout the county, or is there an application? How do they get involved?
Both. So yes, and all of the above. So this is open to anybody. And I think that, so with certain programs, there is an application process. So we have to make sure that we're aligning the participant with the correct programs and making sure that they're a good fit for the programs, because there is a commitment level. I mean, some of these cohorts run 6 months, and we want to ensure that those that are going through the program are committed. There's also, with the grant that we received, what was really exciting about this is that accessibility. So there is a fee for these programs.
Yeah.
Quite a significant
There
fee.
should be.
Yeah. And but with the grant that we received, we actually built program into it. So that was built into our budget. So if a business met one of 4 criteria through the application process, they were able to receive the training or go through one of our courses at no cost to them. So that's where it became really transformational. And I think some of the things that stood out to me was hearing from, actually I met with one of the businesses today, was that she was actually in the process of contemplating closing her business. She is a marketer, and she really was like, do I go back to bartending? I don't know if I can work for somebody, but I've always loved bartending, like just really ready to throw in the towel. And she went through one of our Growing a Brilliant Business cohorts. And at the end of the cohort, she had more than double and was getting ready to hire her first employee. So that was really, and just excited about doing her work again. So I think that was really amazing. And then we had another participant that went through the Difference Maker boot camp. And for him, he was a painter, and he was quoted a job, and somebody kind of came back and said, well, I can do 1,600. And he brought this to his Difference Maker boot camp, and they talked to him. The group kind of
How to negotiate.
Yes. And he went back and ended up landing the job at 6,900. So
Wow, that is awesome.
yeah.
I love those stories. So
Yeah, I do too. Like, those are the things that I can thrive on.
right. So you said there's been over 90 that have enrolled in the programming. You had also mentioned about getting the word out there for these aspiring entrepreneurs, these new businesses. Is the programming set for certain times of the year? Are you continually taking applicants?
It's
Like, how does that
ongoing.
work?
Yes, it
Okay.
is all ongoing. It's rolling. So roughly every 2 months or so, but we have so many different cohorts going at a time that it's just really, once we get a group of like 5 to 10 individuals together, and we roll with it. So, and that's really based on the service provider's recommendation. They can typically tell based on those applications that we receive how committed individuals are going to be to the programs, because that's a huge value add, is being able to connect with those other entrepreneurs and businesses.
Yeah. My next question is, who do you have facilitating these cohorts, and how does a curriculum get put together for it?
Right. So we work with a select group of service providers that are partners to the Livingston Business Hub. So we have agreements in place with them. These are programs that have been vetted and that truly, for us, felt transformational. So they hit on all of the components that we identified as critical to the success of filling those gaps for entrepreneurs throughout that process. So these were programs that were already in existence, so to speak, but we aligned them with so that way the hub is providing more of this central access point. When we were going through this process, it was really like asking the question of how can we be that one-stop shop for business? I think, opening a business can be really overwhelming. And like I said, you get into business because you want to do the thing. You don't want to necessarily run the business or
Think about accounting or the marketing aspects or all that. You want to do the thing. I get it.
you want to do the thing. And and then a lot of entrepreneurs, they really don't think about like managing people either. So I think like that's something that's built into a lot of this curriculum is how to maintain that human element. And so I think that that's been a huge win for a lot of these programs as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And these are the stories that really make an impact, right? When you're able to see these businesses are on the verge of closing and now they're thriving, they're growing, they're hiring. You see businesses where their income is directly affected by the curriculum, what they learn, these experiences they go through. It's amazing. It definitely makes an impact.
Right. So, and I think that's really key is like, I think too, when you're looking at community and potentially facing, the challenges facing their businesses, potentially shuttering and being able to turn that around and playing a small role in that. I think that that's been really rewarding coming out of this and seeing it continue to evolve. And I think that's another key piece of this is that it is constantly evolving. So we're constantly evaluating the programs. We're constantly evaluating what is valuable to the individuals going through the programs. And we're excited to be introducing a new mastermind. So we introducing a new mastermind course in addition to really leveraging the podcast space that we have. So this will be the next step to one of our difference maker boot camps is individuals will actually be learning like why you would want to start a podcast, how you can deepen.
I love it.
Right? Speaking to you, yeah. So, and then also, get the hands-on tools and training in our space. And that's all wrapped into their 6-month cohort or within the program. So we're actually going to be launching that one here at the end of July.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's not for everybody, for sure, but there is definitely value in having a podcast and being able to build that authority and recognition, and it gives credibility in the marketplace. So lots of value there, and I'm glad that's built in to what you guys are offering. As we start to wrap up, I wanted to ask on behalf of those listening who are interested in taking their organization up to the next level, what kind of tip or action item might you share with them as they strive towards that goal?
Honestly, I think really just engaging with your community and listening. I think listening was key to what we did, and that's not a hard thing to do. Like getting the right people around the table and having a very honest conversation about what their challenges are, where are the opportunities, and leveraging appreciative inquiry for it too. So that's been really fun is like, how can we be the best version of ourselves? And that's something we consistently ask. That's part of our core values is how, to make the best better. So I think that is a key factor in really having transformational impact within your community.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I like asking everyone I have on the show about the future of chambers. So, how do you see the future of chambers and their purpose going forward?
Yeah, I think that's a great question.
You guys had great vision with this project, so let's see what your vision looks like for chambers.
I think the chambers have to keep innovating. I think that they have to keep evolving. And I think that listening is key in that, and that really just stepping up and stepping in and knowing when to do that, because chambers are natural conveners. And I think that we know how to put the pieces in place. But I think that's a piece of it, but really leaning into building a framework and building a system and putting something in place that solves a long-term problem or creates a solution that's beyond programming. So I think, as we look at chambers, it is evolving in a place that we're more than just ribbon cuttings and community events. And there's a huge value proposition and value add when we're solving critical business issues like workforce development, talent attraction, housing, and then the tools and resources that businesses need to succeed and thrive, and that is economic development. And so I think really looking at those pieces and figuring out what your chamber's role is in that within your community. And I think that starts with listening and engaging, and then really being proactive in those solutions.
Yeah. Listening definitely helps to create that vision, so you know what direction to move in your community, and every community will look a little different. So, well, Janelle, before we let you go, I wanted to give you an opportunity to share any contact information for listeners who may want to reach out and learn more about the Livingston Business Hub or anything else you guys are doing there at the Howell Area Chamber. Where would you point them, and what would be the best way for them to connect with you?
They can absolutely visit our website at howell.org. You can also reach out to me directly, jsmith@howell.org, and I'd be happy to set up a time to meet, talk more. Or also follow us on social. We got all sorts of things going on.
Right.
Livingston Business Hub apps also has its own website, so I can drop that over to you too. I think it's just livingstonbusinesshub.com.
Okay, very good. We'll get that in our show notes and make it easy for people to find and reference and connect. But Janelle, this has been fun having you on the podcast. It's exciting, for the accomplishment of making it to this big stage, and wish you and your team best of luck as Chamber of the Year.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
If you are a chamber professional, be sure to subscribe to Chamber Chat Podcast on your favorite podcast app or now on YouTube, so you never miss a new episode. New episodes are released each week and delivered right to you. If you're finding value in the podcast, please take a moment to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. It really helps others discover the show. And most importantly, share Chamber Chat Podcast with your colleagues in the industry so we can continue to grow and strengthen the chamber community together.
One thing I see over and over with chambers is a big focus on talent attraction and workforce development. But what often gets overlooked is retention. That's where Mike Conn really brings something different to the table.
When you invest in people, you know what happens? Their leadership increases exponentially. And when you help leadership increase exponentially on an individual level, an organizational level, a community level, then the culture just gets better and better and better.
Mike gives businesses practical tools to build stronger culture, improve communication, and actually keep the great people they've worked so hard to attract. If you're looking for a way to bring real tangible value to your members through workforce and talent retention, and even earn some non-dues revenue in the process, then what Mike has to offer is a game changer. To learn more, visit chamberchatpodcast.com/Mike Conn to learn more about all that Mike has to offer.